All right, and your question again.
Yeah.
You had a great question earlier.
Yeah. Might have to use it.
Yeah, we're
No.
gonna.
So my question is, when do we know? There's so many levels of problems, and as somebody who mediates and helps counsel people, when do we know like it's time to maybe move on or repair? Because
Okay.
there's sometimes it could just be as little as we're arguing too much. Sometimes it's we're starting to not like each other. Sometimes it's getting physical. Sometimes it's getting at all levels. And so how do we mediate? How do we start to recognize that I don't know, maybe it's not time to move on or this could be repaired?
Okay. I think this thing can be repaired too. Sometimes can be repaired within uh, your couple, and something that is won't be able to repair within your married to couple. So you have more to mediator. Là sĩ từ tuần này more advice cho me or either thế là có mình chụp cái này cái gì ta ô lên nó sẽ thì lên nó tụi ta mình chụp lên sẽ thằng là ta lên nó sẽ thì lên họ này ya. So this is gonna be more specific cho họ ta ya. Or cái which level biết sao lên mình chụp ta which level biết sao mình ta này ya. They're different from individual. Một cái thứ nó cái còn me I see for me thì chỉ phản ý đó cũng sẽ chỉ có mà tôi mò cái này it's really hurt you.
Yeah.
So when you felt that it's really hurt you, you need to go for a person to give you advice or một chỗ to mediator. Thế thì ta có sáng tạo okay, this is not hurt cũng a lot nữa ya. Thì you two can deal that with yourself. More ít cho tôi này nó để giải ta sinh đạo get into physical là because that's okay for them. Nó này mỗi cho tôi này mà rồi họ bên tôi bù hay ta mới cho ít cho nạt chỉ thì cũng nạt chỉ này mà có những bù mà nó sinh đạo lên taแต่是你nhỏ呢不因掉到不叫对面头sinh đạo但是一plaat cái rồi rồi này they say they think that's okay for them to do
Yeah.
that.
There's different types of
Yeah,
people.
different type of people.
Yeah, right.
但是要有那得get into physical 了，那得 probably it's big 了。有那要
Yeah.
that's totally different level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just I hate violence. I think it's horrible. It should never happen in between couples, but it does happen. So I get
It
it.
does, and it does, and some doesn't matter. Some people not they a lot of people not they you think that get into violent not lỡ not they khó they ya khó cứ unacceptable là. Thế chỉ mới cho tôi này not they bớt chuyện tình là ta okay ya thầu của tôi husband này của cho chẳng khi cũng một cuốn đầu not they because he beat me up in a loud way. So this chỉ là ta bé chỉ là có bé assumption so họ nói bây giờ nó cho cái bu cái mà đầu nó hạ cả đó, okay? Mới cho cái bu hạ là họ là ha nó vậy. Họ ta okay, của tu husband nó jealous của hey chỉ bu của ta có thể because he loves me. Ê thằng tôi của lên nó because ni mo của beat up because ni love của hey ni beat của okay? So different type people.
Yeah,
Vậy.
you're right. And this is why this is so important, guys, to understand, like we're mentioning, the different types of people. Man, I avoid people like that, like the black plague. Like I'm like dodging people who are toxic.
Yeah.
I'm dodging people who don't know how to speak well, don't speak kind. Don't and the reason why there's so many different types of people, and you get caught up in sometimes the physical beauty of somebody, or and then you forget about these things that are so important that we're talking about. People forget about those things.
Oh, yeah.
You have what kind of person are you? And that's why I teach guys. What I do is I teach guys to, okay, how do we make sure we're picking the right people for us, so that we don't get at those places, and then what happens when you're already in those places and it's too late, almost it feels
Exactly,
like it's too
yep.
late. That's, I personally, okay, and I'm going to challenge what your, this concept is. Personally, when you're at that place where because violent, it's time to go. Me personally, I say, when you're at that place where you guys are not cooperating, not working with each other, it's time to go.
Yep.
I don't feel like any counseling or anything can help. I really don't, because when people come to you and you're going to say, stop doing it, right? Okay. do they ever stop doing it in your experience? Because I know you do a lot of this. You talk to a lot of couples. Do they ever stop? No, it usually happens again. It's like it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle.
There's a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit.
That's a habit.
So how is it, and so that's why for me, it's just it's such a difficult thing, and that's why divorce happens. And so we know right now, the statistics say that for divorce is 56% now. Okay. So this is more common.
yeah.
A lot of this is happening now. And it's only going to get bigger because, we're not finding ways to work together. You're not picking the right people. And you don't know what to do when you're in these places. You don't know how to detect stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to teach people solutions like, okay, first of all, how are you guys together? How are you relating? Are you having a good time most of the time? Or are you just, you just have that feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's complicated. And so, I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I just feel like, to me, it's almost like a lost cause, and it's better to move forward with somebody new, in my opinion. And so my question to you is this. Most of the time, do you think are you telling people to keep going, figure it out, or are you telling people to, move on, find somebody else?
Okay.
I want to know that.
Okay, for myself, nó thì nó thì ta cú tao cú một số tê lúc trong rồi nó là này, bố conflicting nên nó bố họ cú họ get involved trong này. So first of all, they cú nu ta okay, what có hạt chi happy cho, what có sale o chi trong cho tao. What happened? It's if I understand the way that not they maybe some people think that okay I do this okay this maybe I might give them advice that okay this you think is okay for you, but it's not okay for your partner, not okay for us. If you keep doing this is not okay. And you have to go think that go rely that go oh you wrong for doing not they shake You cannot change it. We understand that people get into a habit that you cannot change tomorrow, but you reduce become a good habit to got all the thing else different from I'm not gonna telling them okay it's quit it or move forward or whatever. Nó thì cú tao nó không có nói ta tao nó think that okay ta maybe now I understand it's because when they say that they come more give them more advice that okay what the option you have.
Good. I'm glad you said that. In your experience helping people, do you think that the people ever see the problem in themselves? How often do they see like do they do that at all?
A lot of people they do. Okay. A lot of people they see it. I think really not many people they don't see it, and not many people that they see it and they purposely do it. Not many people they do that. A lot of people they don't realize what they did wrong. They don't realize what they do and other people don't like.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, example, okay.
Yeah, example.
Okay, example like this, okay. Example hata Kuna numa hang out with your friend. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Kuna numa hang out with your friend. They could think that okay, this is normal for me because I'm my friend. I always go hang out with my friend. Like know that she needs okay to wife. Okay. Because could think that okay, because I don't see that's not okay. If I put myself in her shoes, to wife, hang out with your friend, it's okay for me too. People when they do it, they really don't rely. They really don't rely on that. So that's how all. So they click trigger. Hey, this is a red flag. But there may be a lot of people they put things back at that. Hey, yeah, what I did is right or wrong. How come? Cho tới này nó chỉ bố lấy cuộc họ của bố nè nó thì maybe watch and think twice. A lot of people bố là họ từ tối này cái purposely do it. He or she knows it. Thế she purposely do nó thì cho họ thì này ít họ cứ bố bên mong hồ tại này như từ tối này sharp hay từ tối này lì hạ này nó vậy. Ní bao tới she này purposely all go hold it on. So that's how.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. I'll just use my own example. And so you do it too much. To your point, I like what you said, and,
Yeah.
and you don't even see it.
Yeah, you don't see it.
But you use your phone, and so you go play, go do all this stuff.
Exactly.
You don't see it, and But I would offer advice to this, and I would challenge that and say this. I think it's okay to do what you want to do if you taking care of the house, you're taking care of things. You should be able to do whatever you want. Like I have clients, they're like huge golfers. They love playing golf, and all golf takes a lot of time. It's like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Going with neighbor for outside the house, and then he always and I asked him the question because I thought about it. I said, dude, you're always so away from your family a lot, and he goes, don't worry, I can do that because I take care of everything. It's okay, I think. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, it just depends on the situation. That she don't get the take care of taking care of the things that you need to. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And so that's what I say. I think people should do what they want to do. The problem is, the partner has to be okay with that.
Exactly. Yep. The partner has to be okay with it and not too much. Like when you had fun, not over fun.
Yeah.
Just enough fun. See how okay. Yeah. That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cái hàng mà tại có sự muốn đầu có sự muốn nó xí thế họ lại là that's okay for your partner ha có chỉ xong một hay chỉ cho họ ta mongอยากตายchỉ bảo lưu chế làนั่นเลยnó that's different กูอีโมอีเจ้า friend กูจะ close friend นะmà กูยังตัวต้นใหญ่เอาเสียที่กูจะ close friend นะเขาทำไมกู learn from กูจะ close friend นะmà bố nó để bố mong ở xí lại nó để bố chỉ bảo lưu chế là bố chỉ worry hả tại nhát ta chế yêu mua có bù mi nhiều yêu mua cho mi nhiều mi ai nhát ta chế này bố mong là để bố chế để fan mua fan thì chúng có bố chế để chỉ chụp cá ta chế này soกูที่ไอ้ตัวใหญ่เอาเสียละ I think that's wrongนั่นแหละเขาก็มองว่าชีก็มองแต่ชีก็ต้องบอกแต่ when you have to come back นั่นแหละ so that
I get it. What you're saying is a balance. I'm saying.
oh yeah you have to
I know, but I'm saying if you got your stuff together, good live relationship, and it's it's all good. Do whatever you want. I think that's just me personally.
Okay. Okay, for me nó để nó để disagree cho họ có disagree cho họ có because thầu có single nó để you can do that.แต่ when you are not single, cái more to wife like to husband like you have to you have to have compromise. You cannot do what you think. You have to have compromise. That's why the stereotype แต่thầu có marry like that you own by someone like thầu có more kids like they let your kids win. You be the loser like นั่นแหละSo that's how why because you have to balance you have to compromise with what you think what you want to do what to keep the family happy
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, mine was the opposite. My coach, they don't have. Sometimes, which I want her to go. But yeah, enough about me. So then for okay, most of the problems that go no on specifically, just that mean that got experience throughout the community that don't go na. Think that not to talk na, you to the point. I don't want to ask this, but
okay
personally, like your experience.
giờ có một thằng họ có là nó của thằng the whole general họ ta của bao năm.
Okay.
Mà thằng start mà như more than like 60% 70% mà the start mà từ man start á start có conflicting between other couple này không một cái mình này mà a lot of time mà từ man startแต่是từ man start tao thì từ man stop了แต่是 a lot of time nó tự nhiên thằng đó thì từ có bù phiền keep grow cho tới mình được tốt. Okay, I give one example.
Okay.
实际上他 understand 他要为了讲故事还来好，cũng mỗi cái example 他到 OK 头谈出来个叫有偏冇谈咁 blood nó 使用，嘛 OK，冇可能個 example 真係咩實散啦，佢係咩啊 OK，but
Don't go. No, I'm just kidding.
就是頭冇，那麼就只能冇那冇事呢，但係佢冇事事個難呢，但是冇แต่佢冇談論過，但係錄做呢又錄做แต่就個不佢錄做但 OK 咁冇啦，佢已經 understand 咩事呢？但係冇啦，咁冇談論過，但係個就講錄做個去抄那 no crazy 就講做啲什麼又，個就講錄做錄呢เขาคอ呢แต่就個不啦，แต่不錄呢就講用呢。 แต่สิกูปัวลาจะขับปัวไอ้มองป้อมองลูตัวก็ยาตัวจงละลูนั่งจะต่างๆนะยะแต่ because เท่าตัวก็ยามองลูสู่ตัวก็ยาตัวป้อแต่นี่สู่ละนี่ตัว stop เลยละตัวก็ปุ่มมาเพ่งคิมนั่นนู่นหายจะรู้หัวนั่นนู่นโอ้จะหอจีจะเต็มเหมือนตัวนะยะแต่ that's how แต่เรากูหาป้อจะหาแต่อีตัวไหนตัวกูไม่เก็ตสู่กันเลยละก็จะจ้องจีเต้าจะกูเลยจ่อยาซื้อยาเก่าแต่ยา跟到古到個 back 啦，OK every single one 呢咯 ，yeah so that's how แต่กูปูหัดแต่จะเต็มเหมือนเต้าแล้วกูจะพุ่งชื่อคือเราแล้วกูลดแล้วกูเกี่ยวกับชีวิตนั่นแต่ชีวิตเจ้าจะจ้องไปจากชีวิตมากูปูมาอย่าโมเล่นหรอกสินะเขาจะกูปูแต่พอมาชีวิตจีรู้แต่ชีวิตกูปูจะเลยพอ stop เลยแต่พอกูปูจะเลยจากข้างคูลุ้นนั่งนะอย่าแต่จะโน้ตแต่กูจีปูหมดแต่เหมือนจะปู family
So
แต่กูหาแต่conclusion เลยปวดตั้งก็หาไม่อยากแต่ start แต่ยิ่งยอa lot จะ start นั่นแต่ยิ่งจะนั่งดาวน์โหลด start จีแต่ไม่นะอยากแต่จะนั่งดาวน์โหลดแต่สิถ้า continue ก็รุ่นในปวดตั้งนั่นแต่ยิ่งจะก็ปุ่นดาวน์โหลด
okay, in your experience, that's what you see.
Yeah that's what I see
Interesting. No, I think nowadays women cheat just as much. For basically just using your example, women cheat just as much, if not more, than guys now.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's changed. Yeah,
It's changed differently,
changed.
drastically. And I like what you said too, because that makes sense to me when you said, even though you feel like guys are at fault, but they change.
Yeah, they change.
And I want to touch on that because I think this is an important aspect, and I brought this up in the past, but it's a good time to talk about it again.
Can I add a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Why the men know how to change? Okay. แต่ไม่ใช่ต้อง ask เขาเนาะแต่กู
Yeah, please. I love it.
จริงอยู่กลางเลย
Yep.
Why the men have to change when they think they do something stupid in the family when they change? Because men consider that this family is my family. Men think là vậy. Hata lúc chế nó cũng cũng lúc chế. But women, a lot of women, they don't think that. They think
So true.
this is your house. That's how women think. They put out okay, thầu có ở phía cho cũ lại,แต่กูอยู่ở phía cái bao đó,กูอยู่phía haiกูchỉ kê cho luôn này nó.
Yep.
That's how.กูđể biết sao mà giờ tới mình nói nhau không?
Yeah, no, that's really well said. We see, and this is why it goes back to when you just we can use science to back this up. Evolution and just is. Men and women are different. Are the way that we look at things, the way that we process things. So that's a great example. As a man, you are you're supposed to be the head of the household. You see things differently. And so whereas sometimes women don't see it that way. Not that they don't, but I can see where they don't look at it the big picture.
Oh yeah.
This is why everybody likes to use this argument a lot, which is and I want your thoughts on this too. They always say stay for the kids.
Oh yeah.
Stay for the kids.
Yeah.
And they always say that, and I think a lot of guys they'll do that. They'll stay even if they're unhappy. They'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And so whereas sometimes I don't see it as much. Not that not that women don't consider that, but it's more individualistic. It's more like, hey, you know what? A problem happened. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna go do something else, kind of deal. And I don't know. I've seen it. The reason why I'm saying that is because we know that 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Oh yeah.
That's the stats, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's why it kind of backs up what you're saying too. Guys can change. They'll stick around, but I don't know. Then it begs the question. The bigger question is, why do we stay? Why do we? Is that a big enough reason to stay for the kids, for the bigger family?
Exactly.
And so these are things that are good to consider.
Yeah.
And people everybody has to question and answer it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. Though, go ahead.
I have this question that I've always been thinking about, and that I thought this was a really good time to bring it up, which is, we live in a society now, and it's been like this for a long time, where people think that they measure success in a marriage based on length. How long have you been together?
Okay.
Versus, I have a different philosophy. I don't care about the length. I care about the quality. That's more important to me. And I see people, and then I'm asking you because based on your experience, people man, you've been together a long time, you know, versus man, you've been together, but it's a great, or you know, it's good, it's a good relationship. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, what you're talking about, I don't understand what you're talking about. The link at stick together, or how you có thầu chỉ tao she marry. No,
No,
thầu she marry.
marry, you're married.
Marry.
Yeah,
She marry then they thì rong, no.
yeah, they cha zhong cha. I care about no, but zhong na.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, nó tệ của tinh cái tinh hết rồi. Là ra cho old folk này ạ. Thì bất chỉnh tinh hạt tao kê. Thằng mấy nhóm mấy xí yo bi thằng là lao rồi tệ nè mấy thằng này tôi này rong. Thế thì cho cũ nó tệ cũ họ think differently from that too. I think the same thing as a young guy, like young people like your guy. Đấy này ạ. Cho họ cũ tinh hạt ta sẽ you look like quality một đấy chăng? Họ cứ nư rong ya ta ít khu nát chỉ cứ chỉ nhau xa này vậy, nhau cái là chỉ nhau xa nó thì nhau hay nhận đấy thì họ hay là rong chăng hết ta,แต่是ta nhau là nhau ở từ khi nó có punish itself này vậy, nó thì cú sáng cú ta họ nên chỉ rong, cho họ bên chỉ bù ta, cho nhau là chỉ nên đấyเลยbữa nay rong tôi chỉ hỏi là họ này, bây giờ bù cho cái ta maybe tu nón trâu tu họ là một chút lối tu lo tu lúc này tu rồi rong này vậy, so we know that, we understand all those things, so cú nó thì cú hay chỉ stick cho ít khó ta okay, and memory longer, stay there, more longer the better, cú nó thì cú that is not my favorite.
Right, but that's what creates the problem though sometimes, because you know your job is like your job is to try to figure it out, right? And for them and help them see things.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I mean, what if you're just not happy and you don't want to? People quit now because they're just not happy, you know, like and then they're afraid of what people look at it. And
Look
say,
at it bad.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, you know,
that's a bad reputation.
Yeah,
something no
because we live in such a different time now. We don't have all these things, time to think about all these things, you know. But now we do have all this time and all these options, right? You know, that we think these illusion of options in our mind, you know. And so I don't know. I'm just curious. My question then is just, when is it okay? Because we keep thinking that you have to stick together, fight for it, you know what I mean? But why? If, you know, itu sanyo, itu samu.
Okay, họ có nó tệ chỉ cú nó tệ cú advice cho là cú. I don't say that everyone must do this, but this is just some kind of advice. Ya ta thầu có thứ tình ta I cannot stay any longer than this này vậy. I don't want to suffer more than this. There's a time to move on. But to kia này cũng là cũng như hay đấy nè. Thì cũng chỉ là mediator. Kia nhân tạo cũng chỉ là tụi này mình chụp chế plot trên tụi hắn đã cái là cũng như know either to wife or to husband. Ta mới tụi not both party but one party of those. Ta okay. Mấy chuyện có cũng nhon gì nè. I rather die. Là cũng chỉ sáng nhon gì là cũng nhon chỉ tao là na, cũng hậu on chỉ tao còn cũng handle chỉ tao tên nó là cũng nhon chỉ tao là na, nhon chăng còn nó tê cái đồ là chỉ đồ tới này xứ nó là vậy, để bỏ hạ lên nó là na vậy, nó tê ya cũng hay tụi nhau hậu tê cũng như tao okay, ya để sẽ có nhà để chẳng tê, we do it for you guys, nó nè, để còn nó hay khó cứ bé save lại bốn đầu lô ha, còn nó hay khó cứ bốn move on trong lô. Ni chi ở chỗ bolu này nhiều này vậy, cũng mới cho ha, nhưng bụi cho cái ta, sau đó mới dụ lên nói chơi lên nhỏ ở lúc này rong là, thế thì cũng lâu lên nó, cũng sáng ta cũng bù cho giờ ít thu sao, cho cứ thằng m모 tới mày thằng lô rồi m모 tới mày, sau đó mới dụ nhỏ chơi lên nhỏ lâu rồi thu lúc này rong mà trong bù mới ít thu sao, thế thì dụ bù giờ tới mày họ tới mày giờ dụ lại dụ bù dụ nhỏ nó dụ bù giờ thu họ nè. Cú sáng này họ cho cứ nhỏ ấy ra nó mới một tên mình là nhỏ là ở bên núi mới chắc ăn mua next year chắc ăn mua following year chắc ăn mua tên mình ăn chơi ít tu nhỏ chỉ tao là thì chơi lên lúc này chắc ăn tới tăng là thì maybe that sẽ nhiều late cho you chắc ăn mua start luôn.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of the law inside there, 特別多喺呢壇啊，你約咗係哦，俾住 so I'm glad that and so it's important for the people to hear that because I think you're reasonable, but I hope everybody is reasonable like you. And so you can recognize that 每對你要知道呢，
每對一齊嚟，實際啦。
Right, but 每就係你做nhau OK 啦到時啊，都可能冇nhiều啲冇nhiều啦，就係啦，so
màจะถอยจะไม่อยู่ก็เลยก็นั่นแต่กู continue จะขอให้จะไม่อยู่ก็กูนั่นแต่กูหาสั่งแต่เป็ดแต่ไม่อยู่แต่ฉันไม่ยังไม่อยู่ตัวอย่างไม่ยิ่งมั่วหนามั่วสีตัวอย่างไม่ยิ่งมั่วไม่อยู่ตัวอย่างแต่สิกูนั่นแต่กูสั่งแต่ไม่อยู่เป็ดสามารถ consider จะเป็ดเข่งนั่นเต้าให้ okay because ไม่อยู่เท่าก็จะหาแต่ไม่เอาเลยไม่มั่วไม่เอาตัวเข่ง punish ย่อจะไม่อยู่สินะหรือนู่นไม่อยู่รอดแต่ย่อจะไม่อยู่จะร้องให้มาก็หาแต่ก็จะ happy อ่ะแต่โอเคถ้ากูมั่วกูตัวเข่ง punish เห็นบอกแล้วย่อจะกูจะไม่อยู่สินะกูจะไม่อยู่ร้องเลยแต่สิหรือนู่นก็จะไม่อยู่ร้องเลยจะมั่วก็ kick out the house ให้จะก็จะเท่าเลยจะมั่วก็จะต่อเจ๊จะปุ๊กก็ย่อเขาว่าเจ๊จะเอาเพจก็หาเนาะแต่ทำได้แต่要咧讲，要哈也 feel bad 很就要 self 那样，所以古哋古上在边一啲 channel 嚟，特别差冇冇民谣睇了路，个鸟上岛古鸟上岛，阿嚟嘛是帮就民谣啦，因为到他不路了，他不正常不闹不好了，同埋啲差呢種，你可能係佢佢差冇就民謠就路。上路都行得有安那子咧，個有安那子片鳥是着急有because of the kids.
So that's a very fair answer.
Yeah,
and so I want to challenge it with a different point of view, which is Christianity says till death to us part. It says, when you make that vow, it's forever. You see what I'm saying? So with the way you say it, based on kind of maybe if it's part of our culture, to be like if it's just it's not working, it's not working. So and that's the kind of things that we're dealing with now. It's just you บอกนะใช้ movie you บอกนะยิ่งอยู่ในนั้นตัว death part ไปยิ่งจะเตี้ยๆin real life.
Exactly, yeah. You realize it's different from movie.
Yeah. And so people are always dealing with that, and so I don't know. I want to ask these questions because these are things that are going to happen,
Oh yeah.
And people are dealing with these questions that they ask themselves when they're in bad relationships.
Oh yeah.
I know for a fact there's people that are in relationships that are miserable. They're very sad, and then there's people, there's people who are happy, but there's a small percentage. And then there's people, that we're talking about now, this whole process of divorce, how we're dealing with it. It's
a lot ofตัวนี้นะแต่แล้วก็มา a lot of จะ old people แต่ชินว่าไม่มั่วแต่ไม่มันจุดปัญหาเพราะจริงทางสุขภาพแต่โอเคแล้วทางเลยย้อนสนมาจริงย้อนเตาก็จริงย้อนไม่ได้จิตเตาชินเตาชิตัวเลยเนี่ยย้อนนั่นแหละ I think พวกเขา thinking maybe I don't know what their philosophy อยู่ก็ไม่ย้อนนะ because พอจิตเป้าสุขแต่โอเคไม่ย้อนจะอีตัวชันเด็กจิตเตาจะเลยตัวอีตัวท่านเนี่ยจะเดาอีตัวเนี่ยอีตัวตัวอีตัวเนี้ยตัวเจ้าเนี่ยไอ้เรื่องที่ลูกพ่อจะมีอยู่ฮะเนี่ย so จะต้นนี้คือพ่อตัวปังหาจะเต็มเหมือนแต่น้อยแต่พ่อหาเล่นน้อยแต่ไม่บีที่พ่อยิ่งพ่อขอ thinking ที่ใช้อีกอย่างจะรู้คือกูขอเนี่ยกูขอเนี่ยแต่กูว่าแต่จะจุด save อัตตัวมองจะแต่มองแต่ save อัตตัว marriage โอเคแต่สิกูขอละกูยิ่งแต่ save อัตตัว marriage อัตตัวจี marry เลยละมาแต่ถ้าพ่อแต่อีตัวแต่กูย้อนชิไลกูย้อนชิไลเนี่ยแต่กูแต่ย้อนชิไลเลยรอการละยามุญญาไอ้ก็มองก็รู้ในกูมองกูรู้ในไหมแต่สิมองเลยโนเตยามุญญาเลยแต่ชิช้าอันนี้มีแล้วก็จีกงกูรู้ในกูจีกงก็รู้ในแต่อะไรจากการปังชิลูจะมีอยู่สิเนี่ยแต่ that's better เนี่ยเฮ้ยแต่คนเราอยากขอ save เพราะเขา marriage จีอยาก save แต่ไม่ marry ไม่ยากโอเค this is because ไม่ more kids โอเคเนี่ยแต่ save แต่ก็ไม่ชิช้ามองแต่ไม่ลูกชายไม่อะไรชิปังลูกจะมีอยู่That's how.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but there's two.
Sometimes, it's not.
And that's the ideal situation where can we walk away and still work together and be okay.
Oh yeah.
But more all that stuff that happens.
Oh yeah.
And so that happens because of these things too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So how do you help somebody? Because usually, you're more timing now. Timing it can build, it becomes something bigger, and so ก็係斷到，ก็係揀難多咗那個，只冇可能啦。
又係但每到三ย้อน啊又， nhưng mà ít tôi sáng mù ít tôi sáng nhỏ nó để giờ cú giờ tu bỏ tại ok cho các tụi mình decision nó vậy nhưng mà hai là vậy nó để cú như là các tụi mình advice cho tụi nó này thì cú như tại ít tôi sáng nhỏ nó để cú như tại giờ để cho mấy sáng nhỏ ok là trong đó để mà lại explain cho tụi để chỉ sáng mù này vậy hay tại ok các mà có chỉ sáng mù tới chỉ cái nhỏ này vậy thì maybe liền lúc để cho tới mình lúc rồi tôi này vậy thì maybe thằng đấy chỉ today có sáng để tao tomorrow có sáng để chỉ lại à thì có sáng để chỉ lại thì mấy một tới mình này à thằng một tới mình cho mấy là lên từ lúc mấy cho mình nhiều này à giờ tại mấy chỉ tính cho mấy cho kids này à thì tại chỉ là mấy thứ chỉ cả nhỏ này nè this is better move on nó này ok
sorry
Oh no, down below, let's say like we're split apart, okay? And tu pe na nu yin chi ka wo zhong li na, nu de có cho cụ chơi rồi nó chơi cụ yo chi ba cái li na, mình yo chỉ có tu cho ya chỉ có li so chơi yo cụ li na. And it always falls down on the guy because for basic monkey na, isn't it? Yo tu si chỉ sa do tu ponya no sa tu ponya no che doesn't the husband lose the house and the cars if le moi le all in lu bay on lu che la.
Ok, họ có nó thì thọ biết thằng cho có lại nó thì maybe giờ hạt cho công hồ nó mua công hồ nó thì bắt thằng bắt thì nó là bây giờ chỉ là chỉ because thọ biết một chỗ họ split cho kids nó một chỗ cho support cho kids nó who get what nó nó là nó thì cho nó thì biết get job with the legal system lại để cú prefer hạt tại biết chúng ta một legal system. Để sau này chỉ một tới mình, chỉ giờ hạt tại mấy cho tao nói xứ nó để lý nó một khó cho blame nó vậy, blame tại because thầu tôi nó có cho tôi này thầu tôi nó cú cho tôi này nó vậy. Trong bất sau chỉ phía đó cú cho chỉ phía đó con nó để that's you had the way to blame other people. Thế thì giờ thầu một số cho để trong lên nó là nó để cho hạ cho tầm mong là.
So really, mong bị nãy chỉ hay cho assets đó, nãy chỉ hay cho chain. Really?
Okay, bé hạ tức là this must be at the both party agree at the bé hạ tao lấy chân vô là họ, mà bé sao lại hạ, hồi hạ tại mấy tu bù rong thì chỉ bù rong nó để bé chỉ tháo hạ nó rong lo. Okay, hạ tại tháo lên hạ tại okay bé tôi bé chờ cái tin này trang, mấy hạ lại chân là vô là chỉ sĩ hủ đấy nó vậy. Nhớ chỉ tao kể thì mấy hà lại chẳng là chỉ là hỏi mình bằng mỗi cái vấn đề chế thế nha, thế ông nó tên nó phải cả hủ đó xứ nó chế bỏ lại. Thế chỉ là thảo chiêu là họ là ít tuổi thế hey, giờ tại có rau củ thì củ yếu tan cho, cũng rau có thì có yếu tan cho nó là vậy. Nó để thảo lên nó là để bé chỉ cho cha mong hà lại. Bé tu mua legal system thì bé mua cho ta.
And so there's a lot of good things that you're describing about how Hmong people. Our clans and our leaders can help us mediate and counsel, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate and just say a young couple is not gonna be. If a young couple say you guys can't even do all these technical things, the assets, the cars, the houses, the money, but I just go to the legal system and just avoid all of this. You know why? Because they're gonna handle everything for us anyways, but it's expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why Hmong move the Hmong way because of the expense.
Một trong legal system là do tầm thầu rong lên nó nè, tôi để yêu anh là chỉ yêu shit thằng là tao ha. Yêu anh là chỉ yêu shit thằng là tao ha thầu lấy cái cậu ta nên cậu xong tan lui của chuyện lộ của chuyện hậu lự. Thằng đấy để cho divorce paper là của hay tụi hành hợp. Họ cho nó đã sử dụng bây giờ cũng不会做如果吃到贵嘢都我就nó đã xin trao là quý嘢都我呀thì so ya thọ tại mấy anh là chỉ mấy thằng hủ mấy tao khi một con lên nó lên nó ít phái ít sư giờ thì ít phái lên nó thì ở tụ ở lên ở thì trong là họ thì mấy chỉ bông nha hồi giờ tại người họ sáng tại người họ sáng tại của chủ tao lấy ya nó xử lý này ya thì ít bỏ đi thằng là họ này ya là có một sáng cả ta this not reasonable hạt ta nhiều online lên nó thì ok cho nên bông này nhá sao cú tên nó rồi không một thứ court not gonna take one side judge be really fair
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time. Tức là nhớ trên depend trên tu judge, hả? Chứ tu judge chẳng hạn, ya tu judge, như thế tu một chút bias nè. nó tên hi muốn chỉ take side cho tức là a lot of time cho judges nó tên bây giờ sai có situation tại lấy chăng ha bây giờ mua tên nó tên nó này bây giờ mua phía ha sự cho mình nhớ nó mà it's a little different bây giờ bảo thì mình nhớ thì a lot of time thì bây giờ mua cho auto tuần này xí a lot of time thì mua cho tàu tu bốn nạ là sẽ a lot of time nó thì bây giờ mua cho tu hạt tại mua hậu lựa trong cho kids họ chủ nhỏ biểu bằng lấy cho kids họ.
I mean, we know already that the court system favors the wife
a lot of time
most of the time, but you know, you would hope and pray that you have a fair judge. But I'm telling you, we know already the stats already say that that's not the case, and so it's a flip of a coin, but working against you as a man. I'm honest.
Thế thì tại họ có của Hà nó cũng chỉ bảo tại cho judge nó rồi chẳng tới cho judge nó cho bé khâu đi ra mà cũng mà mong nên đau lu sai phải cho xin trao nên đau nó vậy mà cũng bù tại cho judge nó bố mỗi phía hà tụi mấy sĩ tranh nó cho mình nhớ nó mà những cái Hà nó cũng bù bà phải chống mà bố mỗi chỗ linh nản á thế thì hà tụi không ai không chế thế nhà cha thế chế thế u thế nó thế bố mỗi nhân chẳng bố bị thế有来路chế cái là chỉ xin trao nó sẽ有来路chế cái là chỉ xin trao有路chế ở bộ旁但是一度睇睇bộ旁là nó vậy nó để ta xem路chế chỉ là vào有那个ở bộ旁nó vậy để cho chị hai lên nói tại mình giờ chấm nhận chung lên thì nhỏ này vậy để cho chị hai tại ok có有老路chế là你去补充了呢để cho cụ giá trị để ta xem để cái nhỏ路chế tụi cứ mua chấm mình nhỏ路chế cho họ chấm mình tại thì chỉ lấy chế nhỏ này vậy để dù tụi cứ mua mình nhỏ路chế sẽ lên nào lên gì họ nhỏ路chế họ tới xí路chế nó bây giờ tao mua ta xem để vài dụ lên nói là nó em mua em mua xí phải là xem tại cái yếu nên thì cái chủ tao thêm vào lên nói cho nữa đó là vậy, giờ cái nhau lúc chuyện nó một cái yếu này vậy, that's how cú chỉ ta bùi case judge cho chị phía này, cú chỉ ta cú mong cú sáng tại cho case xin trao những cái bây giờ nè, mua lại cái cho case cái cú mong họ cú sáng tại mua lại nên có bây giờ case, mua bút này vậy,
you have a lot of experience doing that.
Mình chụp nó, mà cú bùi tại cho judge mua những phía hình. Một tốt từ mà giờ có tính tại nó để judge chi phí,แต่是กูtínhแต่กูแต่phí.
Okay.
tốt từ họ mà ít khu nào chỉ họ mà giờ cho cứ tìm một cái nhà cho tôi cho tôi trả, để thầu ở tôi xin trao, để tôi có giờ ta giờ cứ tìm một tổ, 但是就佢哋冇 cash 咗，就加先嚟用。但是就好不之後就一等咗有一度咧，誒有啲 judge 第日最到冇快，就nhà phải thì cho cái tỷ lệ chỉ một phải ta rồi bù thì chỗ lấy cho thì tụi cô nhà nhau thì tụi cô cho thể cho cái tỷ này ya thì họ nó mà ya cho tao tiền nó thì ta chi phí nó thì chỉ là cụ tụi khen cụ tiền thì legal system thì họ nó phí ya cụ tụi judge là cụ những là họ because you don't know what is true thì chỉ một receipt này bằng cash xin này ya thì ya cụ là cụ giá trị là họ này ya thì ya cụ nó thì cụ tiền ta tiền nó là gì chẳng nó mà ya so a lot of time nó thì a lot of cases cụ bù tiền ya việc tăng lại. Wow. Thì chỉ bảo ta cho judge bên nó bố mua cho bias cho chống này vậy. Cho judge bố mua bias chống thì maybe bố favor cho ý sáng đầu luôn.
I'm really curious because it sounds like you've been in the courts while they're making decisions.
Oh yeah,
right? And
yeah.
So I've
been there.
Wow, that's great because now you have. It's good to know that. So when you're seeing these things. Là hai cái mua đó là cái là mua xin là
mấy cha thì cũng muốn chụp bấm một xin nhá họ mấy cha thì cũng họ tụi mua interpret cho
okay, that's why you know.
Yeah, okay. So that's why I know a lot of those things.
Gotcha, that's good.
So, Damlo, another question. Okay, so for the Hmong culture now, you có you do a basically tụi nhiều từ chính chi na, nó chỉ you lo cho một chỗ a cái tiền nên là chỉ sử dụng liền na, nó chỉ lo chỉ lý cha na, usually thôi nên mua lý ta na.
Good question.
Họ có nó thì Hmong culture này vậy. Hmong culture nó nè, Hmong mà này giờ cái gì mà hạt lên họ nó cú tính tên chia culture, cú tính tên chia culture, tức là Hmong practice là họ luôn là này vậy.
Okay.
Hmong practice là họ luôn là này vậy. Thì họ nó thì Hmong cho Hmong ít practice mà bố favor cho chính này nè. Thì bây giờ mất thằng cái Hmong khó nó tên chia phía cho cái bù nè. Cú disagree chú lấy cái Hmong khó, Hmong về Hmong ở, Hmong về nó thì tụi có bù, nó chỉ là tụi có gì nữa, thì bố mua tụi có bù sang một chỗ nên trang, thì bố cho sang lấy cái bố sẽ bố sang lấy trang sư, ok, thì bố cho mua là họ một số everything, thì tụi có bù lose thành trò nữa, tụi có bù chỉ lại ở chỉ, ok, thì that's how Hmong usually practice là thousand years luôn là, thì I don't think this become a culture. I think that's because by the time they lead your mentally use พวกจะ power control จะก็不是 I'm pretty sure แต่你要让你去考 culture 但是还主要都还是เป็นชี้那得不好去 against ตัวอย่างนั่นอย่างแต่กูชาแต่อย่ามัวหาจุดจะมองเวนั่นแต่กูหาจีเนี่ยจุดจะหาแต่อีตัวชี้อันนี้ตัวนะโอเคมองเวนั่นแต่เป้าเลยนั่นแต่เป้ามัวจะก็ปุ่นลูกดาวเท่านั่นอย่างแต่กูชาแต่ไม่ละตัวอย่างกูละตัวอย่างอย่ามัวอะไรปะตากูหามัวกูอย่าตัวกูปุ่นนะอย่าป้ออะไรหาตัวกูนะนี่ชีเฟียร์กูให้นั่นอย่างแต่สิอย่าเลยกูเต็งแต่สินะกูนั่นอย่างอย่ากูเต็งแต่เลยแต่สินะกูนะอย่ากูเต็งนั่นแต่กูสั่งแต่ doesn't matter ต่อตัวชี้แล้วกันล่ะเอาตัวรุ่นนั้นก็เอาตัวรุ่นคือต่อเอาตัวรุ่นนั้นแต่มีตัวมีอย่างนั่นแต่เป็นมั่วสิไฟก็新疆是มั่วchỉ mua many percent là chỉ muaตัวนี้จงจะคือย่อยๆก็จะสั่งชี้นะอย่างกูยิ่งหาจะก็พูดจะสิเนี่ยนะอย่าแต่จะก็พูดชี้จะไปสิเนี่ยละ maybe แต่จะไปตัวจีหุบชาไปตัวมั่วจะเกี่ยวลูกจีเจ้าตัวปอเขาเกี่ยวลูกกูจีตาหาแต่เกี่ยวลูกไอ้ปุ๊กเกี่ยวลูก maybe แต่จะปอมองนอละเป็นไป busy เป็นอย่างบ้านไป busy เป็นมองเตาก้าไปจินจุปอเกี่ยวปอมองปอไอ้เล่นปอ lonely โอ้แต่ปอจะ mistake มอง hang out ตัวตัวกายคือตัวปอตาแต่ปอจะ cheat on bây giờ chỉ nên là tôi giờ maybe có bu nó bây giờ tôi lúc chú sáng cả có bu nó lúc chú hai lúc rong đó cô lúc chú cái chế sẽ có bu chỉnh sự bị chỉnh cô làแต่cô yếu lùi cho tôi cô là hậu lùi mà cô nhớ xa lùi cáiแต่cô mà hang out được cô cho friend chỉ tham mà hang out xem là mà có release stress sẽ chỉ mà hang outแต่chỉ là một cái tụi girl cứ thằng lùi hụt côแต่cô chỉ là cheat onแต่before ít tuổi cheat on ít tuổi nó mà cô yên sángแต่นี่chỉ haแต่nhớ cái cho sáng cheat is the reason to cheat on เขาโน้นเลยที่สาตาโอเคฉันบล็อกสิ่งการหาในชีวิตอะไรล่ะกูสาหาตา maybe ก็ปุ๊กก็ขอกูยอซึ่งก็ชิปุ๊กก็ขอ mistake ฮะแล้วนั่นอย่างจะขอแต่กูตุ๊ปุ๊กแต่กูจะ friend กู cheat จะ friend จะ wife กู cheat จะ friend จะ cheat จะปุ๊กจะ wife แล้วก็ยิ่งปุ๊กแต่โอเค in the past before หนึ่งตรงในจังนั่นอย่างอย่าไว้ตรงในใจโอ้รวยก็ชาลิปุ๊กแต่โอเคตัว wife cheat ตัวhusband cheat นั่นอย่างพอตั้งกูชาลิหาเขาพอตั้งถ้าเขาเป็นทางเขากูชาลิหาแต่ because เขาต้องมาเขาอยู่ hurt เขาจะ hurt นั่นมา depend on individual นั่นอย่างมันbecause สาหัสแต่กูนั่นนู่นมันคืนยาเลยกูตู้อยู่กูก็ปุ๊บมีอยู่กูก็ปุ๊บเนี่ยเจ๊เสียตู้มีตู้มีอยู่กูนั่นนู่นมัวตอนยานั่นเตาตรงนั้น why นี่จึง cheat on กูน่ะThat's not what she needs. She needs you there with her all the time. She needs to be there when she cries, wiping her tears, then laughing, continually laughing. They你只係呢個人啦，你只呢個人，只呢個個睇見你種，你呢一個個人嗬，就呢個 shiny movie 就呢咩 laugh OK，那你你可以學那樣，但係個叫啦，但係呢，但係用呢，但係但，對。ya cũ này cho nên mình trả tao nhà sự cũ này nó pin nó sai mình nhiều sai TV cũ liang cho nên mình trả nhà nó cũ sự ya dùng mà dùng sáng là vậy thế thì ya nữ nó tệ khó chia khó nín nên là vậy so cũ sao ta tệ cái hurt nó tệ different individual tệ different purpose cái hurt po tệ cũ sao ta before po sẽ chi là ni chỉ blame tan cho ta ni pay that's maybe ni mistake maybe ni mistake ก็เลยกว่านี่มองแต่นี่จะเลยมองสุขะแต่จะเลยเตะเท่านี่จะ mistake แล้วนะอย่าง
No, go ahead. You want to take a break now?
Yeah, let's take a break. I know that battery's dead, so it's okay. And then we'll carry on next chapter now. But usually it's open mic now, so we leave chapter 4. And we just carry on with conversations about open mic, and we ask questions for all of us.
Okay.
And then anything else you guys want to drop in there, words of advice, Joe, divorce.
Let's talk about solutions.
Yep. And stuff like that too.
Solutions.
So yeah.